Hi everyone, so this video is on understanding the formulas for trigonometry. So I'm going to go through how you label the sides of a right angle triangle. I'm going to go through the formulas. I'm going to show you how to rearrange those formulas, okay? And we're going to look at a triangle for each part of each different type of question that you could get asked in trigonometry, okay? So trigonometry is a way of finding out a missing side or a missing angle in a right angle triangle, okay? It's different to Pythagoras, okay, because it has the extra angle here, okay? If you were using Pythagoras, you would have two sides and you would be finding a third missing side, okay? Trigonometry only ever involves two of the three sides. Okay, so you'd only ever use two sides and one angle, not the right angle, okay? So what we're going to do first of all is we're going to label the sides of our triangle, okay? We use the words opposite, adjacent and hypotenuse. Now you've probably used the word hypotenuse before with Pythagoras, sorry. That is the side that is the longest side of the right angle triangle. So it's always opposite the right angle, okay? So this is the hypotenuse. I'm going to call it hype for short, okay? Then we've got the opposite, and that is the side that's opposite the other angle that's given. So opposite this side, so this would be opposite. Okay, and the adjacent side is the one that's trapped in between the right angle and the other angle. So this is adjacent. Okay, so that's how we would label our sides first of all. Okay, so I'm going to write some notes with these now, so you can jot them down as well if you want to. Okay, now there's one word that we always associate with trigonometry, okay, and that word is Socatoa. Now this word is split up into three sections, okay, and depending on what triangle you're looking at and what sides you're going to use for your in your triangle, what sides are there, depends on what part of the word you're going to use, okay? So let me just go through what these mean. So S represents sine, okay? C represents cos, and T represents tan. So these are all functions on your calculator. They represent graphs, but what your calculator does is tell you the answer from the graph without having the graph there, okay? So it's just a function on your calculator that you can use that will tell you the answer, basically, okay? The O, the H, the A, the H, the O and the A link to the sides of the triangle, okay? So O stands for opposite, H for hypotenuse, adjacent, hypotenuse, opposite, adjacent, okay? So depending on what sides we're using within our triangle will depend on what each of these, which part of those we're going to use. Okay, so each part represents a little formula. Okay, so we'll look at the first one, SOT. And SOT represents sine equals opposite over hypotenuse. Okay, so whatever letter is in the middle is the one that's on top of the fraction. Okay, so if we do K, okay, it's cos equals. Now the angle here always, the word, sorry, here, sine, cos, and the other one tan, they all link to the angle that's given in the question. Okay, so that's the angle. All right, so cos equals adjacent over hypotenuse. And the last one, tan, okay, or TOA. So TOA, so tan of the angle equals opposite over adjacent, okay? So what we'll do now is we're going to have a look at the the triangles that I've already drawn for you, and we're going to see which part of Socatoa we're going to use, and we're going to then rearrange the formulas so that it suits what we actually need to work out. Okay, so here's the first three that we're going to look at. Okay, so the first thing that you have to do is label your sides with O, A and H. Okay, so remember, H is the longest, O is opposite, and A is in between the right angle and the other angle. So I'll label all three of these. So they're all the same. So H, A and O, H, A and O. Okay, so we have to figure out what we don't need now. Okay, so if I look at this triangle here, okay, I'm always going to use the angle. I'm always going to use the side that's got a length, and I'm always going to need the side that we're missing. Okay, so H doesn't have any information. It's not the side we need to work out, so we don't need that one. So we don't need H in all of these. Okay, so I'm working with O and A. The only formula that has O and A in it is TOA. So we're going to be working with tan. Okay, so I'll write it out here. So tan, let's call our angle theta, equals opposite over adjacent. Okay, right, so this is where we always start from. Okay, but what do we actually need to work out? So with this one, we need to work out the opposite. So I need to get opposite on its own. So what I've got is I've got tan theta equals O over A. I need O on its own. So how would I get O on its own? Well, yeah, I would get rid of the divide by A by multiplying by A. Let's get a different colour. So multiply by A, multiply by A. So for this one, O equals tan of the angle multiplied by A. Okay, so that is the formula you would use for this triangle here. Okay, let's have a look at the next one. So this time we're working out the adjacent side. So I want adjacent on its own. Okay, so I've got tan theta equals O over A. Well, I need to get A on its own. So I need to bring it up here, but then I need to get rid of the tan. So actually what can happen is these two can switch places, can't they? Because if I bring it up here, I'm left with this, and then I would divide by tan. So adjacent equals opposite over tan of the angle. Okay. Right, the last one, I'm not working out a side, I'm actually working out the angle. So angle X. So what I've got is I've got tan X this time equals O over A. And I want to get this on its own. Now, this is where we have to do the opposite, okay, or the inverse, like we've done on these, okay? So to get rid of the divide, we've times, okay? So X actually equals, and this is where we use our calculator, tan to the -1. That is the inverse of tan, okay? And we do O divided by A. This is all going to make so much more sense when I do the next video, which is examples on how to work them out with numbers, okay? So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to do the same thing for the other 6 triangles I got here, so for the other 2 formulas, and all I want you to do is watch what I do and have a think about the formulas, and that's it, okay?
you'll need to do now is you'll need to watch my next video to find out how, my next two videos actually, one on finding the missing side and one on finding a missing angle. Have a calculator ready.